Greetings and welcome to smartwatchtics.com. Got a new watch from DTNo.1. This is the model DT70 Plus. It's got some plus features in it, solid stainless steel body, and an upgrade to the Wear Pro app, the one we've been looking at on pretty much all of the DTNo.1 watches. In the box, we've got a manual, a charger that was underneath the watch module itself, two different sets of bands or other combinations you'll see here in just a second. I've got a rubberized black band and a brown leather band. That's the one that they sent me, which looks just like this from their DTNo.1 official store on AliExpress. This combination, but they have all kinds of other ones. So when you click on the link in the show notes, it'll take you over to this basic page. The prices range from about $30 up a little bit, depending on the band combination. And of course, we're going to have a coupon discount for you. You can get a little bit of price reduction as well. With this watch now, you're getting a 1.45-inch high-resolution 454 by 454 Bluetooth calling capable smartwatch. It's got all the other basic stuff in here. It's using Bluetooth 5 for tethering, and your audio 3.0 is standard for the Bluetooth calling and streaming your audio. IP68 they claim, but check this out. I wanted you to know right from their website, in bold red, it says that the product can't be worn to take a bath and so forth. Well, you're not supposed to use these with hot water, but IP68 is a rating that says you can swim with these. So, conflict here, I would, without knowing which, I would err on the side of caution and not get it wet. 1.45-inch we mentioned, IPS full view color screen, 320 milliamp hour battery, going to give you about 3 hours of charging time, but it's not talking about its longevity. I presume it's pretty decent, pretty typical, 2 or 3 days at least. Supported languages, packing list, and then a reminder, and I'm adding this in here too because there's some biometric readings that are a little questionable all the way around, especially for ECG reading. So just be careful that the factors may have changed, and apologies for not notifying you in advance. Now, we've covered all the legal bases. Let's take a look at it. The module itself is wrapped really nicely. We open that up and take off the little plastic cover, which I pretty much leave intact, so it's easy to wrap it back up again. You have a clear film on the top, different than a screen protector. You want to take that off. And then you can take a good look at it. You've got 3 different buttons on here. Really, really nice. This actually is a twirling knob that you can change the watch faces. You got a back here, and there's a protector over the electrodes here. Supposedly electrodes. This is what you're supposed to use, of course, to get an ECG. It takes 2 electrodes on the back and 1 that you touch with your other hand, but we'll find that that doesn't really apply. It just does an ECG basically without hooking up the electrical circuit. Simulated, of course. So that's the module itself. 2 different bands, the nice leather one, and I'll just put the black ones on it in a minute when we've got the wireless charging puck, which is really nice too. With these, you just sit them on the depressed side. See how it's a little bit of a depression? The other side is flat. It sits there, it just hovers, and it charges it up wirelessly. There's no electrical connection to it, so when you're wearing it on your wrist, you don't have sweat affecting the contacts. Pretty nice design. Then you got the overall DT70 Plus manual. Very beautiful, colorful design, showing you the rotating dial, the side button, the watch case itself, where the speaker is. That looks like a microphone to me. Watch straps go on it. Then you've got the QR code for downloading the Wear Pro app. We'll have the link in the show notes as well. And then your overall setup indications, what to do if notifications fail, your main functions on this one. Not sure if you can read all that, but it's basic stuff, and we'll be showing you a lot of that on the watch itself. Your product specifications are right here, and Chinese is on the other side. Let's take a look at it now. Wow, this is definitely a very dressy watch with 3 buttons on the side. The middle one actually turns as well and changes the dial faces. It's really good. It says hello, pops into the first beautiful watch face. Now the bands, I've got the rubberized ones on, and a little attention to detail I noticed wearing this overnight. The little strappy things here have a button in them. So when you put them in position and you strap this thing on, they don't go sliding off and having part of the band flip out on you, which has happened to me so many times. So I love that attention to detail. And the matching clasp, it's great. So you saw it go through a couple of little things right there. There's the watch face. When it times out after the 5 to 30 seconds that you set it up for, it can go into what appears to be an ambient mode display, but it's not really. Like, it's not going to stay on continuously, always on. It should. Many of the other watches it does, but it only stays on for a few seconds. I've got it set for a 30-second timeout on here, and I want to show you when it does go off of the main face and it goes into that special face. It's on there for what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seconds, and then it goes out. And there's no other way to bring that on other than it shows up when the face is going off. We'll get into that a little bit further down the line. Let me show you first of all, if I press and hold this button, you can shut down the watch, or you can slide over and activate the SOS call when you have this Bluetooth connected to your phone. Nice feature there. When you press this one, you go into your app drawer that shows you all the different apps. We'll be looking at those, or come back out of it to the watch face. The bottom one takes you into all your sporting activities, and of course back to the main face. Twisting the knob allows you to change to the different watch faces installed, including one of my favorites, this one I downloaded from the app. They have quite a few faces there. You can only have one in the watch at a time, but you can select amongst any of them that you'd like. Bright ones, dim ones. Yeah, really, really sweet. Pull it down. Let's do this. We've got 3 pages of information here. Your basic information, AliExpress, the brightness. It's on its lowest level. It gets really bright, so bright that it tells you it's going to increase the power, and it's on that super bright mode, and it really will wash out the screen here if I don't turn it all the way back down. This is the thing for QR codes, exchanging social data information. Here's your settings, your Siri type thing. That's the SOS button if you want to activate it that way. You got your alarms in here. Twist your wrist to see the time. Touch the screen to activate it or not. And those are toggles. I have them both on. That you can mute your vibration. And of course, you also have a bright flashlight that doesn't just go right on to flashlight, but gets you ready. You tap the screen, and then look at the background here. See how bright this screen is when it's on full bright like that? And then that takes you back to that mode, which can get you back over here. So they go both directions. You got your date, time, your tethering, your power level. Nice, very nice. When you swipe to the right, you get these 4 quadrants, of which you can do Alipay if you're in China, and that's all set up. By the way, you have to have it password protected. This does support that. You can go into Bluetooth calling right here, or messaging, and it shows you your overall power level. Coming over this direction now, we get into the step counts for the day. It's making its little arches and stuff. I always do this to see if there's anything below it. There's not on this one. Here it says hold it, next to the skin, because it's going to give you your heart rate. This is a simulated chart. It's not real. Find a lot of things are not real on this watch, simulated. But the heart rate will be an actual reading taken with the green diodes and give you a reading against the scale here, which doesn't really apply because you don't see a dot or anything on there. But just pay attention to that. That's your heart rate. Come over here. You've got your temperature and forecast information. It's in centigrade. I didn't see in the app how I could switch that to Fahrenheit, at least for the forecast stuff. On this one now, we're measuring blood oxygen, and it's using red diode technology. Same kind of thing, a simulated chart here. Beautiful, but meaningless. And eventually it'll give you 95 to 100%. ECG now, it says it's starting to measure this. Look at this, green diodes are running. Now, folks, you know ECG is electrical. It means you have to have these two electrical plates making contact to your body. I'm only touching the diodes here. And with your other hand, you need to make contact someplace, it says, on the dial, or should say, on the dial in order to get an electrical connection. And then it will give you a heart rate based on that electrical connection, and it should give you a chart. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look at the reviews on the E400, E500, both of those. Actually, the E500 in particular. On that watch, you can see an ECG chart. You're seeing a simulated chart here. And, sorry I'm using that finger. I'll leave all the other ones out so I don't make the wrong symbol on television, but it certainly applies to what we're looking at here. An ECG with no electrical contact whatsoever. And it's even worse when you look at the app. Definitely bogus. That's the last thing on here. You can go back or you can hit the button and come back, whatever you'd like to do. Swiping up. This is all your recent tasks. Whatever you've loaded up, they'll be here. Like on Android, you can remove them if you want to or switch to them if you don't want to go through all the technique of, there you go, that went off there, of pushing the button to get to them. When you do push the button, though, now you get into your phone stuff. When you open this, connect it to your Android or iOS phone, you'll be able to do Bluetooth calling, and it's good and loud. It really is. Messages, same kind of thing. Here you can actually change your time zone, pick out the country or region, and then drill down and change the time zone on it. Your contacts and call records appear there, and that's all kind of related to that Bluetooth calling stuff. Your overall fitness data now is your step count. We saw that. The sports is what you get when you press this button. There's no GPS in the watch, but you have your standard stuff, cycling and whatnot. Its font's kind of too big and it scrolls really slow, so it takes it a while to figure it out. If you learn the icons, you're doing better. Notice it does have swimming. It's a waterproof watch for that. Heart rate, we had that when we swiped around. ECG, we had that. Blood pressure, we did not. And blood oxygen, you saw it. So those 4 cards are there, but blood pressure, again, you got to cover the diodes. Simulated chart, systolic, diastolic, it's bogus, it's not real. But what you do get is a reading down here. I don't know if it's calibrated. I'm usually 130-ish over 90-ish, 80, 90. So this consistently appears to be low. Whether it's accurate and a delta low or whether it's just all over the place, I don't know. Each person has to check that basically for themselves. That's the blood pressure, blood oxygen. You've got a built-in music player on this one. Here's an example of what some of the music sounds like on the watch through the music player, and it's representative of what a voice call would sound like as well. I've got the phone tethered and some music set up to go on the phone. And here we go. You hear it? Now, the speaker's right here. I can mute it simply by covering it with my finger. So if I have it on, look at that. I'm muting it just by holding it next to me. There you go. And that's full volume, so it's relatively loud, not super loud, but it basically works. And of course you can pause it or skip to the next song if you want to. And then you also have last night's sleep time, a simple stopwatch in here that does not run in the background. When you pause it, you can't leave it. If you leave it, it comes back and it resets automatically. You got the weather, we saw that. The QR code that you can set up. When we pulled down, you saw that thing on the far right. That was for your QR code. That's where you do it. This is your movement trajectory. If you have it paired with the GPS in your phone and you do a workout that involves movement, you can get the trajectory supposedly here. I've not gotten that to work on any of them, but it's the capabilities there. date and time and format can actually be set on the watch. Of course, once you pair it, it picks it up from your phone directly. Here's your digital assistant, the Google or Siri, your alarm clock settings, the flashlight. You do have a calculator in this one, and it's really tiny digits. So they had room to make it a lot larger, but they didn't. Can you read that? Yeah, it's there, but hey, at least it's on the phone. Find Your Phone is there. You've got this breath training, inhale, exhale type of thing to try to calm you down. A massager. Now, when you touch this, the device itself is vibrating. I'm going to set it on the camera here. Are you hearing the vibration? You should be. So basically, that's just vibrating, and you could take it and put it on your sore neck or wherever you'd like if you want to get an instant massage. Alipay, countdown timers, NFC. Again, you got to set this all up in the app, and it works in China. It's not for payment purposes. It's mostly for unlocking locks or passing business cards. I guess it'll work everywhere for that. Air pressure. This is your barometric pressure now. And I believe it's calculated on your location. I'm not sure if it's got a built-in pressure gauge or not on this one, but it does do it. The menu style, you can change through a variety of them. We're using just a listing, but you have the bubble kind and a few different ones. And then overall settings, where you have your languages that are supported, Chinese and European languages. Yeah, quite a few languages actually. Very nice. Okay. Your dial switch. This is where, of course, we can change to a different dial. Then we've got screen on, off, and this is fun. This is where you can have the bedside lamp. If you have that turned on, when you're charging, you get a green display of the time, either upright or sideways. And if you have that turned off, it won't be lit up at night. And it'll be continuous as long as the charger is on it. Screen off. We saw the analog. This is a digital one. That's that little time when the screen goes off and it shows you what's kind of an ambient time, but it doesn't go longer than about 6 seconds. And here's where you can change the actual time that the dial is lit up from 5 seconds to 30 seconds. No always on feature on this either. So the watch does not support always on. Vibration intensity. This is kind of a power savings mode. You can open and close that. You've got this mode select, watch mode or smart mode. Never have figured out what the difference is on those, but it's there. Ringtones. Now, an example of how loud the speaker is. I'm going to show you on phone ringtones what it sounds like. We have to open this up. There. You hear that one? Here's another one. Another one. And another one. Okay, so you got 4 different ringtones that you can listen to. And default, it just, whatever it is, it doesn't play when you touch it. For messaging, you've got a couple of little tones. And then this one. And we got the volume up, so it's a pretty decent volume on this. There's where you can set up the password and, of course, do a factory reset on the watch completely. We'll get back here to, I think I just did a factory reset. Whoa, I'm glad I showed you all the data before I did that. Yeah, look at this. It's starting over at midnight. I don't remember touching that. Well, anyway, we captured the data for you. Let's take a look at the Tethering app. Again, it's the Wear Pro app. This is the little icon you look for in the Google Play Store, or use the link in the show notes to get there. Once you've installed it, you can open it. I've already got it all set up now, of course, and registered, and it's been paired with the watch. And fortunately, after that restore, everything still came back and it's working again, although it did lose some of the stuff on the summary sheet. So when you look through here, you've got your basic activity, your step count information. Get in here, you can see each hour and your summary for the day, week, month, or year. That's still there. Then you have these little buttons. These are almost like apps. The dial market will take you in to choose a watch face, your sporting activity. Exercise classes will show you that, and an overall manual. That's new. your sports record here, if you've done any workouts or exercises that incorporate the GPS in the phone, and you've started them from the phone and paired with the watch, then you'll see them all in here. And you have outdoor runs, indoor walking, cycling, all of these things that could invoke movement where you'd want to get a track, right? Now, all these things used to just be listed, but they've been made into these nice little cards. You've got your last night's sleep time here. There's how it breaks down in a chart, showing you deep, light, REM, or rapid eye movement, and wide awake, your actual summaries, and then when it happened during the night. And look at this. It's assessing it, telling you the time frame and how many minutes it was of each of the pieces of your sleep. It's really, really well done now. Weekly, monthly, year, all of that stuff. Heart rate. Now, heart rate has continuous heart rate capability if you set that up. I didn't initially. I took some individual readings. You see them as little dots right there. It will give you all of this information if you've run it for a day or so, like your resting heart rate, maximum, minimum, all those. The layout is just showing differently than it did before. But that's your heart rate, blood pressure. There is no continuous blood pressure, but if you take a reading, you'll get your systolic and diastolic as dots on the chart. There's no way on any of these that you can initiate it from the phone and automatically do it. You have to take the readings using the watch itself. That's a drawback. I really like it when you can just work from the app and it'll trigger the watch to take the reading and Bluetooth the results over, but you don't see that on this one. Blood oxygen, same kind of thing. No continuous, only dots. You have to take it discreetly, but you'll get the summary and the averages computed as well. Ladies, your menstrual cycle information is in here, and it gives you a calendar. You can set up all of the parameters, and it'll tell you where you are, and it shows you that on the watch. And then finally, ECG detection. Warning, warning, warning. These are not real. Hate to say this, but we showed this app a few times, and each time it gets improved, it gets better at faking the data. Here are a couple of them I've already taken. There's the chart, and it gives you your time, your height, your weight, all of that stuff. And you can run through the chart, and it looks like it's a real deal, but it's not. And I can prove that to you. I can go back here a couple of days ago when, lucky me, I was in an atrial flutter situation like I showed you in the review of the E500 watch with the real ECG chart on the real watch. Well, here it is. I've got two readings. I want you to watch this real carefully. Look at this. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 big peaks and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 smaller peaks on that part of the chart, giving me the heart rate of 68. Now, a faster heart rate will make them closer together. That's what we saw when we did the real ECG on the E500. But when I look at it here, get exactly the same chart, 100%. I mean, exactly. Look, it's coming up on an upstroke and it ends in a little check mark kind of thing there. Exactly the same chart, repeated over and over again. And it goes live. It looks like it's actually making itself when you're taking the reading and you've got it connected up here. So it's a very sophisticated simulation. I'm in atrial flutter here. This should be twice as close together if it was real and representing 109 beats per minute, but the chart itself is wrong. The actual heart rate data, well, that may or may not be right. It's not derived electrically, as we saw when I just did it, balancing it on my finger. It's using the green diode, same thing as when you're taking heart rate. So the ECG heart rate and the pulse heart rate, are both using exactly the same technology. This is not real. So if you're looking for ECG, don't look at anything that uses the Wear Pro app. Fundu app, which was before it, same thing for years now. It's not been real ECG. Now, you get down here, these are exercise classes. That's what was on that little button there. It would take you down here. And this is new. You got 3 different classes in here. This is about a 5-minute, 28-second body fat burning exercise. Here's another one for 14 minutes on shape training. getting started, body fat, advanced enhancement, lots and lots. And you can hit all courses, and it'll go to the server like it would watch faces, but you have access to all the different courses. Brand new, different levels of difficulty, ways of sorting it. This is a really nice addition to the app. As long as you don't need ECG, this app is okay. And that's all you get now on that first screen. You go to Sport. Here's where you can do your trajectory information and set a workout. Here's the device, shows you what's connected. Again, all of these things have been put into nice, pretty little displays. Your watch faces, okay, we'll look at those. This is where you can select which one you want to download, and my fancy one that I've got on here right now is one of these. This is really cool. We'll take that one and I'll show it to you. A bunch of them, seasonal. Of course, they're round watches, so you're going to have round digital, round analog digital combinations, large digits, small digits, 5 o'clock one, all kinds. And they're really, really well done watch faces. So the courses that have been added, the depth and breadth of all of these watch faces that are in here, just wonderful. Oh, yeah, we wanted to take that one from the top. Let's grab that one, this colorful one, because it is an animated one. It gives you this upgrade prompt that the watch will restart. It actually does a factory restore after a short time. So don't change your watch face until after you've synchronized all the data to your app, okay? Because it'll do what you already saw Uncle do here, and it'll completely wipe out the data that's in the watch. I ran into that problem before. So do your watch face choices at the beginning of the day so you don't lose all your data. And if you've got your sleep data on there, make sure you do it with the sleep data synchronized first. Okay, it's now rebooting, actually factory restoring the watch. There we go. And look at the time. Okay, it was 00, and then it reconnected to the app, and then it's properly set the time. But you've got this really colorful, playful animated watch face as an option as well. So beyond the watch faces, you can go into the remote camera capability. You can turn on and allow for receiving phone calls if you want to. And you can do the same thing for text messaging and give approvals for that. Your app notifications are in here. The heart rate monitoring, this is where you want to turn that on and save it. It's off by default. You can go up to as low as every 10 minutes or up to once an hour if you want to. Be sure you hit save, though, or it won't activate that feature. The QR code, contacts, all of these things. There's answering Bluetooth call with the watch, finding your watch, twist your wrist to see the time. Basically, all the settings we used to see that were linear are now in their own little squares. You can update or check the firmware and do not disturb mode and so forth. This is where you set up your overall parameters, your unit settings. Oh, here's why my temperature is in centigrade. Whoops, did I have to save that? Yeah, you have to say, sure, save it. Now my weather should be in Fahrenheit. Your maps, you can set the map for Google Map or a map, whatever that is, and so forth. Questions about permissions and so forth. So those are all the aspects of the app. You've got all the training exercises and everything that you see here. So let's talk about it one more time. You can pick this watch up. It's called the DT70 Plus from the DTNo.1 official store on AliExpress. It's about a little over $30, and we should have a coupon discount for you. It's in general a really nice watch. It's got lots of capabilities to it, a pretty good user interface, selection of watch faces. It does a lot of the measurements, but only the measurements. The charts that you see continuously through it. Oh, it didn't change to Fahrenheit. All right. Maybe I have to reset it. The ECG, of course, is totally simulated and based on optical technology, not electrical. So if you can live with that, that's fine. Otherwise, Yeah, you got different bands that come with it, an extra pair, an extra set if you want to, and all those can be ordered here. It changes the price slightly if you add different bands. There's metal ones, there's all kinds. So jump over to the link, take a look at the options, and if this one calls you, it's a overall nice watch. Lots of good capabilities with it. You have to get out of here first, I guess, to get out of there. There you go. Yeah, the DT70 Plus. Thanks for watching, gang. We'll see you again soon.